This episode isn't about how the word runaway changed between 2000 and 2026, because truthfully, it didn't change much since the Youth Prevention Act of 1974. What did change, however, was the world around our children. Between 2000 and 2026, childhood changed faster than any generation before it. This was the beginning of the internet generation. Chat rooms, social media, online gaming, private messages. Children carrying the online world in their pockets. And eventually, algorithms, artificial intelligence, fake identities that became harder to detect than ever before. Between 2000 and 2005, the internet arose. At the start of the 2000s, the world looked very different. Most children didn't carry a phone. Social media barely existed. The internet was still something many families accessed through a shared computer in the living room. Parents generally knew who their children were talking to, because those relationships happened face-to-face, at school, at church, in sports, or within the community. If a child left home, the people influencing them were usually people nearby. Then technology accelerated. In 2003, MySpace launched. In 2004, Facebook was created. In 2005, YouTube arrived. Between 2005 and 2010, social media changed everything. In 2006, the Deleting Online Predators Act highlighted growing national concerns about children being targeted through the internet. As social media, chat rooms, and online communication rapidly expanded, lawmakers began recognizing that predators no longer needed physical access to children to groom or exploit them. The internet had changed childhood, and the dangers facing missing and vulnerable youth were changing with it. In 2007, the first iPhone was released. Within a few years, the internet was no longer something children visited. It became something they carried with them everywhere. The smartphone changed childhood forever. For the first time in human history, a child could communicate with hundreds or even thousands of people without their parents knowing who they were. The term grooming became increasingly associated with online manipulation and sexual exploitation. Researchers began recognizing that internet-based grooming looked very different from pre-internet exploitation. But many systems still viewed youth who left home as making a voluntary choice. Between 2010 and 2020, the trafficking connection emerges. By the 2010s, social media platforms exploded again. Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Discord, online gaming communities, private messaging apps. Children are growing up in a world where friendships, relationships, and influence increasingly existed online. Researchers, child advocates, and trafficking organizations began drawing connections. Studies found runaway youth faced elevated risks of sexual exploitation, trafficking, substance abuse, violence, homelessness, and victimization. In 2017, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children reported that 91% of its missing children cases involved endangered runaways. Advocates began asking, if these youth are among the most vulnerable children in America, why are we still using a label that often suggests they simply chose to leave? Between 2020 and 2026 marked the beginning of what many now call the digital predator era. Today's world looks nothing like the one that existed when the word runaway became deeply embedded in juvenile justice language after 1974. Children now carry smartphones with them everywhere. Social media apps, encrypted messages, online gaming, live streaming platforms, location sharing technology, constant internet access in their pockets. These predators could contact children instantly, privately, and anonymously. And then artificial intelligence changed everything again. Between 2000 and 2026, AI advanced faster than most families could keep up. Fake photos,
fake voices, fake videos,
AI-generated conversations, profiles that look completely real. Technology can now imitate people in ways that were almost impossible just a few years ago. And predators adapt to every new tool. What once started in chat rooms and social media has evolved into something far more advanced. The dangers facing children today look nothing like they did in 1974 or 1990 or even 2010. Advocates increasingly argue that the word runaway no longer reflects the realities of online grooming, coercion, manipulation, trafficking, recruitment, and digital exploitation. Because while the world changed, the language largely stayed the same. The dangers evolved. Technology evolved. Predators evolved. But many missing children are still labeled with the same word, runaway. Maybe it's time the language changed too.